Oh my God, how do we miss talking about 9/11?
9/11.
How did
We
we
literally
forget
forgot 9/11. No,
We actually forgot 9/11.
that's how the podcast ends.
Hello and welcome to America the Conversation. I am one of your hosts, Tim Philippi, and with me, as always, is Andrew, or maybe some other deep state agent. I'm not really sure. Is that you, Andrew, or are you Chad from the deep state? I can't really tell. You want to use one of those Tom Cruise Mission Impossible masks? I see that happening.
Well, Tim, if that is your real name, which based off your incoherent rambling to start an episode, it is the real you.
Yeah,
I'm definitely the real Andrew. And
Wow.
you know that?
Wow.
Because I'm just that awesome.
Oh.
Just that cool.
Yeah, I think that's a deep state conspiracy. So if you can't tell, we're talking about conspiracies and how they're all true. No, they're not. Most of them are rooted in racism, and most of them are only believed by one certain section of the human race, and that's the ones that lean a little bit more right wing. So let's get into some of these. First off, I used to be a conspiracy theorist, pretty big back in the day, like when, before Alex Jones went all right wing. I read InfoWars once or twice, but then you start learning a little bit more knowledge outside of the Christian church that you were raised in and the weird right wingers that believe weird right wing things, and you start to go, hey, not all that's true. I'd say most of it, if not all of it, is untrue. Maybe the Kennedy thing, we don't know. We won't find out ever. But I definitely don't think like the election was stolen or aliens built the pyramids or anything else stupid like that. So yeah, I mentioned aliens building the pyramids, right? One core example, and this isn't necessarily the crux of the show, but a lot of conspiracy theories are based in some sort of racism. Some people out there may even not consider themselves a racist and think, oh yeah, no, like how could they have done that? There's like 50 different History Channel documentaries on how they built the pyramids, but you can go watch those later. But that general conspiracy is and correct me if I'm wrong, Andrew, is why most, I say racists believe it, is they just don't think that quote unquote primitive and again, probably non-whites could have ever built something so sophisticated back 5,000 years ago. And that the only people that are capable of building something like that are Europeans. Am I wrong in their assumption of that's why they believe that? Or am I a conspiracy theorist again?
I think that you are wrong in the fact that most people who believe these outlandish conspiracy theories are not openly aware racist. I don't think that most people who think aliens built the pyramids are believing that because they think people from the ancient Egypt couldn't have built the pyramids. Although that is sometimes their excuse.
Yeah, that's the one I've always heard.
Very racist ones, but very racist conspiracy theorists. But I think that a lot of conspiracies, including that one, definitely harken back to the original conspiracy known as the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. And most of these conspiracy theories on the right harken back to anti-Semitism and really, to be frank, Nazi shit. And I also think that a lot of these conspiracy theories that seem harmless, whether it be flat eartherism or
I forgot about flat Earth,
the ancient aliens or any of that stuff, are the beginning to the right-wing rabbit hole on things like TikTok and YouTube, right? Like, I think that they are gateway subjects to like being anti-vax, to believing that the last election was stolen by Joe Biden, to believing that there is like this deep state agent named Q who's fighting like the pedophilic like secret government of celebrities and like cartels. I think that those are all like different layers of the conspiracy iceberg that eventually just lead to like Nazi racist bullshit. Yeah.
right?
Now, I think that a lot of people believe this stuff, and their main reason for believing this stuff is reality is terrifying, right? Like, I think that it's much more safe and like comforting, even if it is bad people are running society, is that there's a plan, right? Is that there's something like organizing society, and this like makes sense. All the craziness we see around us, whether that be violence or nature or death or
Mm-hmm.
insecurity or the lack of love or the lack of or starvation or disease, like that these things are not random dice rolls of the universe
Sure.
on
Yeah.
us as non-player characters.
It's kind
Like
of
that's what we want. And so we'd rather have this idea of like this grand conspiracy theory where it's the Illuminati or the government or whatever to like say that there is order to this world when really I think that like God plays dice with the universe.
Yeah. Like and that speaking of God, I mean, I would attribute it like a lot of not theologian scholars would I guess theologians
There's
too.
theologic scholars. Yeah.
Sure. Like
you can be both those things.
You can be two things. But no, like a lot of
there is like a specific thing called a theologic scholar, like that is a thing.
But they I would say like God is the product, the thought of God in a lot of ways. Just some people, and I'm not saying that God isn't real. I believe in God, so like I'm not saying that is not the case here. But that's a complicated question on my part. But that the concept of God is nothing more than humans trying, like you said, to try and make sense of the unknown, right? Like, and that conspiracy theories jump to that. Like, well, yes, like, because the election didn't turn out the way that I wanted, there has to be a conspiracy theory. Like, because, I don't understand how Egyptian transport work. Therefore, the pyramids must have been made by the aliens, because this one thing happened in Maya and this other thing happened in Egypt where people built pyramid-shaped structures. That couldn't have been the case because, aliens had to have been there. It couldn't have just been the fact that two different civilizations, multiple civilizations, figured out, hey, maybe a pyramid's a solid structure. Like same thing with like the arch, and well, I guess the Romans only invented the arch, but I'm sure there were other arches around the world. Like
if you stumble down the rabbit hole of TikTok and YouTube, you can find conspiracy theories that like use the fact that things have doors that use archways as like reasoning for why these civilizations communicated, or there was a Atlantis in between them that traded, or there was aliens. Like there's all sorts of crazy
Stargates,
theories,
things like that.
And like I think if you're just having fun with this stuff and not believing it, and like just playing Dungeons and Dragons with our real world as the lore, that's okay.
Sure.
But I think that, like I said, these lead to a rabbit hole of deeper things, and you get into stuff like Pizzagate, right?
Yeah.
And you get into stuff like Jade Helm, and you get into stuff like that every prosecution from different federal and state level courts against President Trump is somehow rigged, or like a deep state plot, right? Or that like that Vladimir Putin is actually like denazifying Ukraine, like to take it out of just America. Like there's, or that like migrants are somehow changing the makeup of like your Danish or Swedish like land. Like there are all sorts of like conspiracy theories that start to reflect in policy, right? I think something we've talked about before that's a great example of this is the Great Replacement theory, something that Tucker Carlson has espoused on Fox News and on his own show, that is like a Nazi right-wing conspiracy theory that Democrats and the left are trying to replace average white WASP Americans with immigrants of color and of different religions so that they can politically take over and like subvert a Christian America and like a nuclear family driven America. And this shit is the same conspiracy theory that Hitler was fucking talking about, the Mustache Man was talking about, because we'll probably have to bleep his name if we use that in the clip, that Mustache Man was talking about like, it's Mustache Man and Tucker Carlson were saying the same conspiracy theories. Like, has Tucker Carlson changed and plugged and played some of those things to like take Germany out and put America in? Absolutely. But like he's using the Mad Libs of the same racist anti-Semitic conspiracy theories that Mustache Man did, that Mussolini did, that that a lot of dictators and far right leaders have throughout history. And these far right wing conspiracy theories start with like the funny flat earth shit and ancient aliens. And then by the end of it, you're talking about how the Rothschilds like own the banking industry, and like unions are allying with pedophile demons, Democrats who are like actually fighting the angel Gabriel and like working with giants and trolls. And I mean, it gets to a point
is
that like,
real? Hold on. Is that
yes, everything I just said is if you dive deep enough down the hole, you can find it.
Okay.
I mean, like, it turns into Dungeons and Dragons, right? Robert Evans from Behind the Bastards says this a lot. There's a lot of people in the world that are horrible people, cult leaders, clansmen, like cultists, that would be a lot better if they just had a good DM and like a free Saturday night twice a month. Because if they could just pretend to do horrible things and like think that they had to do actionable consequences on the world and like actually intervene with things that are out of our control in the real world, then a lot of these like instincts and like needs to like keep the world in control would change. The truth is like, it's scary to realize that 90% of us are more likely to wind up homeless in the next 5 years than we ever are to become even 100,000-aire, let alone a millionaire in the bank. Like, that's a scary thought. It's a scary thought to think that there won't be Social Security or pension for all of us, that our kids may never live in a home, that we may never own a home ourselves as millennials and Gen Z. Like, these are scary thoughts, that World War III is just around the corner, that there is multiple nations where one person can just decide to push a button and kill millions, if not billions of people, that countries are studying bio, weapons and chemical weapons, that a plague can happen without that even happening, apparently, like at any point. Like, our world is scary, and it's much more gratifying and stress relieving to just think, oh, okay, it's aliens, it's the government, it's the Jews, it's whatever that's controlling this, and eventually there will be a savior. Or this conspiracy, I believe they are actually the good guys that are in charge and they're going to release everything to us. Like, it is everyone pining for this messiah figure, this messianic moment of all of our problems like being fixed, a cheat code happening in the universe where like we all get to go, oh, thank God. Like, I don't have to worry about Monday. I don't have to worry about work. Like, I don't have to worry about my kids like getting a good education, or like I don't have to worry about getting that hemorrhoid cream. Like, I don't have to worry about like what my mom's going to say when I come out this Thanksgiving and bring my girlfriend with me. Like all these things, I don't have to worry about getting my green card. Like, I don't have to worry about college or the debt. I don't like all these things that the average American and average human being across the world is feeling. Like, I think the conspiracy theories lean into this like idea that like, oh, it may be bad, but at least it's all going to work out. At least there's a plan. And that is a hook to the right, because it's a lot harder from the left-wing thing idea of like, no, like society is a reflection of the people who are in it and its leaders, right? Like, there's dialectical materialism. Like, the reason things exist the way they do is because of people and their reactions to other people. That is why history exists the way it does. And a lot of those times, those are collective movements that change things. And it is very hard to get those collective movements going, whether that be the French Revolution or the American Revolution or the Civil Rights Movement or feudalism over just kingship before it, like, or capitalism over the divine right of kings, right? Like, these are things that take time, that take effort, take hundreds of years, take different governments, take different social movements. And that's scary to people to say, hey, a lot of the problems in your life may not be fixed within your life, but you must plant trees in which you will never sit and enjoy the shade under. We must work towards these goals as a collective so that our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, their grandchildren, their grandchildren, their grandchildren are living in a society that is better than we could have ever hoped. And I think that a lot of our grandparents and great-grandparents would think that about us when it comes to vaccines, when it comes to ease of travel, when it comes to clean water and access to food. But, they wouldn't think that about wages. They wouldn't think that about unionization. They wouldn't think that about like wealth inequality. And those are things that we could be working on. But instead, we're arguing about whether or not giants exists and like whether or not Jade Helm is an Obamacare plot to take over Texas. Like, another good example is the migrant caravan. Did you see how much we talked about the migrant caravan in 2022 leading up to the 22 election? And then after Republicans lost, like, nobody talked about it for years.
The day after, Fox stopped talking about, like, they immediately, their coverage was, I believe, I saw the number the other day, like 60% of their coverage up towards the election dealt with the caravan. And then the day after, it was like a blip. And then it completely fell off.
that the people who run Fox News don't believe any of this shit.
No, well, they've admitted to it in court twice.
Yeah, exactly. They propped up conspiracy theorists and about conspiracy theories about the election being stolen for 2 years. They propped that shit up. And then once they got sued, once it hit their bottom line pocketbook, once they were told, like, if you keep saying this shit, you're going to get sued again for hundreds of millions of dollars.
Billions.
Fox News stopped allowing people to billions of dollars. Yeah. In the end, like, Fox News stopped allowing people to repeat that lie on air, that conspiracy theory, because in the end, like, everyone's a liberal. like in the end, like, everybody is worried about the bottom line. Like, they are worried about the profit more than they are about their ideology. Like 70 to 80% of us.
Yeah.
So, and that is true of Fox News too. So they stopped repeating that conspiracy theory, but they will continue to repeat conspiracy theories that help support their ideology, their political ideology that is incorrect, as long as it isn't hurting their pocketbook, as long as it's bringing in viewers, right?
Exactly.
Like, they're worried about losing viewers to Newsmax because they can't propagate some of these conspiracy theories now. And that's a dangerous world that we live in, because, you know, I don't think that we're operating off facts, like scientific evidence. No. Climate change is a great example of that. Like, every conspiracy concerning climate change is hampering our efforts to get any real change done across the world. And like, the left-wing conspiracy on that is ExxonMobil invented the carbon footprint, so you would feel like it's your fault that this is happening, even though 70% of global emissions come from military.
Doesn't sound untrue.
It's not untrue. That's why the left-wing conspiracy theories are insane. Left-wing conspiracy theories are something that is declassified by the CIA 20 years later. Right-wing conspiracy theories are racist. Like, those are the two differences.
Those are
like left-wing conspiracy theories are about actual conspiracies that are viable, like MK Ultra, like they like the assassination attempts on Castro, like the CIA, like, conducting secret wars all throughout Latin America. Like, you can go find hard evidence of this, of the CIA often admitting that shit.
They made 2 different movies about MK Ultra, about how it's true. The guy's son, like, ratted him out and figured it all out, and, like, we were trying to mind control people.
Dosed
like,
all of San Francisco. Like, that
did they?
That's something you have to. Yes, the CIA dosed thousands of people in San Francisco with LSD. That's all you have to remember.
Crazy.
Like left-wing conspiracy theories, like I said, are proven by documents that are released later on that are declassified. Right-wing conspiracy theories are the Jews be running the government. Am I right?
And Hollywood with their space laser and the banking system. But we like the Jews until it comes down to the apocalypse, and then it's all Christians.
No, I mean, like, there's a new kind of anti-Semite in this world, and that's someone who supports Israel but actually hates the Jews. Yeah. And that's a lot of Americans.
A lot of Americans, a lot of GOP for sure, and it held DNC too. But so with all of these conspiracies, like, we've, you know, gone on quite a few minutes on just they're racist. They're usually wrong. If not always wrong, they're always wrong. Aside from the left wing conspiracy theories, which are just, hey, we should investigate this. Oh, it turned out to be true. MK Ultra. But like, things that I'm going to say aren't true. How about my favorite one? This is my favorite one right now. It is that my favorite conspiracy theory is that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are Biden plants, and they're going to the Super Bowl they're going to, at the Super Bowl, endorse Biden at the end once the Chiefs win.
I don't know, man. She just won a Grammy, right?
Like, she did just win a Grammy, fourth best album in a row.
I believe it. It's deep state, man. I don't.
Do you realize how hard it is to fucking rig a football game? My God, I ran a football podcast for 3 fucking years. I mean, it is impossible.
Professional sports have definitely been rigged before in America.
Sure, they have, but
play
football,
devil's advocate. Like,
baseball, yes, baseball definitely was rigged. Football can be rigged.
Baseball was done big rigged,
dude. Houston Astros
in the 20s, dude.
Calling you straight out.
I can't even prove that. I believe that, but
I thought they did prove that. They had cameras at the back of the stadium. They did prove it. That's why they got, like, sanctioned or whatever. The Astros did.
But I believe it was the White Sox, the Chicago White Sox, who the rigging of the World Series. Here, we'll find out.
They rigged the World Series. Oh, god damn. But yeah, so there is a gigantic
black box scandal. With Arnold Rothstein, who was like the head of the Jewish mafia in New York and Chicago. So
don't bring any more Jewish conspiracy theories into this.
they got 8 members of the Chicago White Sox who were accused of losing in the 1919 World Series against the Cincinnati Reds on purpose in exchange for money from a gambling syndicate led by Arnold Rothstein.
I remember this.
As a response, the National Baseball Commission was dissolved. Judge Kennesaw Mountain Landis was appointed to be the first commissioner of baseball and given absolute control over the sport to restore its integrity. Now, here's the deal. I don't know
just baseball.
if the Super Bowl is going to be rigged.
It's not. It's not going to be rigged. The most they came close to rigging it was deflating the balls, like that.
You know way more about football than me. I don't know about the balls. I know about some baseballs, but I don't know about the balls.
It's just
I don't know. Do I think that like Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift actually like are dating and love each other? Sure. Sure. Why not?
Why not?
I'm a hopeless romantic. One hopes. Do I also think that like the moment they started dating, they didn't go to their agents and set up a marketing campaign?
For sure.
The next year once they knew it was going to be serious.
The Chiefs
Absolutely,
did it.
they did.
Yeah, the Chiefs did have the Swift jersey. Like
that includes like Grammy like nominations and trying to get those and sucking up to the regular. That includes marketing campaigns.
As a musician, I can tell you about the Grammy shit. You run
going to the NFL with the cast of Deadpool because she's totally going to be in that movie too.
Oh, is she? Oh, that's cool.
I mean, she's going to play Dazzler.
Oh, rad. Okay, that's neat.
Makes sense. Like singer mutant.
Okay, yeah.
I like. It's definitely like there is a marketing campaign, but like once again, the left-wing conspiracy on that is like capitalism. Like 2 people with their agents and a bunch of corporations went
making a bunch of money.
Do a lot of events together, and make a bunch of money. All of us. That's a good idea. As opposed to the right-wing conspiracy, which is Joe Biden, the man who cannot think or walk or talk, has organized a specter-like organization throughout the government, an organization that could only be infiltrated from a deep state leader, a la James Bond, Donald Trump, that is right now organizing with the top celebrity leaders to say, go vote young people. Like,
like that. That's it's so stupid. Like, and it's just like
to endorse him, like that she's something she already did 4 years ago, was something she will probably do again. Because it is
30,000 people signed up to vote, or registered to vote because of one social media post from her back in 2020.
Well, and I'm sorry, but like it is within her interest, both politically as a woman, with Roe v. Wade being overturned, and like in her capitalist interests, to like go with the rational
side
party versus the crazy party. So like she is just making a choice, whether she may honestly believe and prefer Joe Biden. I'm sure she does, but over Donald Trump for a multitude of reasons. Like he's a gross old New York fucking rapist billionaire, like who tried to overthrow the Constitution. I get why you don't like him, but like it doesn't matter. Like the point is like she's going to do this, whether or not it's an organized conspiracy or not, wouldn't matter in the first place. Like, what is it going to change if it blew up and everybody knew? Like, and second off, like, do I think that this new conspiracy is important in any way? No, but it's once again a silly rabbit hole to get you to be like, oh, see, like they're rigging the NFL, like they're Joe Biden's working with Hollywood to like
it's not
gayify your children. Like,
God. It's so well. What I love about it too is it's not just the stupidity that comes out of it. It's the extra stupidity that comes out of it. Like the baseline, like Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce are going to endorse Joe Biden after he wins MVP at the end of the Super Bowl or something. That's one, not guaranteed he's going to win that, but whatever. But it's also the fact that she's dating him.
I don't think he'll
money.
Endorse anyone.
No, I don't think he will either.
I think as an NFL player, he'll just keep his mouth shut.
I
think she is queen of the world right now and can endorse whoever she wants for any reason.
Like one, he's not going to run his mouth. Like what's his name? Aaron Rodgers, who's just a complete dumbass when it comes to vaccines. But the Vivek Ramaswamy, he's the one that started putting this out, or at least he's the first tweet I saw saying about the Swift Kelce thing.
Ramaswamy.
He said that she's dating, I think he said this, that she's dating him for his money. So the $50 million player is dating the billionaire. Like she's dating him for his money. That just doesn't, that dumb is an understatement to that. But
I've spent the last decade thinking that there is only one man that I want to shove into a locker more than anyone else, and that is one Benjamin Shapiro. But Vivek Ramaswamy is a contender.
Yeah.
Vivek Ramaswamy is every libertarian that I met in high school. Like, I just want to grab him and be like, stop talking to me as I like shut the locker door and put the lock on it.
The Second Amendment says you can own a nuke, you know. He didn't say
we're
that,
not a democracy. We're a democratic republic. Yeah, democracy is a form of a democratic republic. And we're also talking about small d democracy, not about the form of the government. And by the way, we're a courtocracy. One could argue we're an oligarchy. One could argue that we're a lot of different governments. Definitely not a clear, faceted democratic republic. But I mean, like, the idea that we need to be more democratic, small d, like not party necessarily, but the idea that we need to have the people represented more in government is the point that a lot of people are trying to make whenever some libertarian Vivek shows up and goes like, we're actually a democratic republic. Yeah, okay, we actually are also a slave owning state, but we changed that too. We also didn't elect the Senate directly, and we changed that too. Like, we're saying that the idea of us being a democratic republic is a bad one. We should be more democratic. Yeah. We should have more ballot initiatives. People should be able to be like, I want to just legalize marijuana and put it on the initiative. Like, and we see that with like abortion and a bunch of other things, right? Like when you put it on the ballot initiative, like liberal left-wing ideas win. Yeah. But point being is, you know, I'm going off on a tirade here. A lot of these conspiracy theories are harmless, are silly, not a big deal. Yeah. But they lead into anti-Semitic, racist, and anti-governmental tirades.
They're the smoking is the gateway drug, basically.
Yeah. They are the gateway. They are the gateway to, you know, some of the most filthy, disgusting, horrible ideas on how our society works ever, because it makes things easier. It's why some of the ugliest people in the world are white supremacists, right? Because it makes them feel better than other people just because of the color of their skin. Well, the same is true as a lot of these conspiracy theories. Like, if this conspiracy is true, then I'm in on it. I know the truth, and I'm working for the good side. And the truth is a lot of things are out of your control. Life. Out of my control, out of anyone's control. Yeah. And all we can do is react to them. So but we can be proactive as we can as a society to make those not as much of an issue in the future, but not if we're wasting time on whether or not aliens built the pyramids. Yeah. Which they did not.
They did not. And here are some more things you need to you don't need to worry about things. They're dumb conspiracy theories, but they're still promoted by people in power, like Marjorie, like Paul Gosar, like people like, you know, any right-wing person in Congress. I'm just going to run down a list of a few as we, you know, get through their halfway point here. So Taylor Swift, that was the dumbest one and is silly. This new one, and I don't know how old this one is, but it's a doozy. Someone put out some sort of, and this is where, you know, making things up and playing jokes on Republicans can also be kind of dangerous because they don't know how to take jokes. Someone said that kids are dressing like furries and using litter boxes in their classrooms, and it was not true. So much so, though, that in Oklahoma, their Congress passed a bill.
Multiple elected officials across the country have cited this like Reddit post.
It's complete
like,
joke.
Kids are dressing up as furries in class and
like,
eating
a litter boxes.
When they go to the bathroom, which is not happening, has never happened. But
they said,
I mean, like,
so let me finish. They said that now if students are dressed as furries, they now under Oklahoma law could be collected by animal control if this bill is passed. So there's that one.
You're kind of playing into the role play at that point, I would say. Wouldn't a furry love it if
they got picked up by animal control? Dude, I don't,
like, you're just gonna make a bunch of teenagers in middle school and high school hornier.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I don't think you know how furries work. They're into a lot. No shaming. Furries, you are unique and wonderful, but like, it's also not a thing that's happening in middle schools and elementary schools. So that's dumb. There's also obviously the doozy of the election denial, that voting machines were rigged by Hugo Chavez, who was dead at the time of the election, that the 2020 election, 2022 election, and 2000 election were rigged, which started the, what's it called? The Brooks Brothers riot in 2000 by making
I would argue I
stop
believe
being
that
counted.
conspiracy theory, the 2000.
Well, no, I'm not saying they.
Another one,
Brooks Brothers
is COVID.
Yeah, sure, but the Brooks Brothers one, you believe, and I also believe that they tried to rig that, which is basically true. That those people fake protested. They called it the Brooks Brothers riot because it was a bunch of waspy GOP members who flew down and pretended to riot and forced Miami-Dade to stop counting votes, like with the help of Roger Stone and Karl Rove. They think that the election was being stolen then. We, as anybody who would have voted for Al Gore, know that he fully won Florida and that the election was stolen by the GOP, who lost the popular vote again. I guess not for the first time, but they lost the popular vote, and they lost again every single time after that. But
I want to point out and retort, the Democrats didn't spend the next 4 years denying George Bush the presidency.
They did not. No, they accepted it and moved on. Yeah, exactly. But now, sorry, go ahead. I'm saying 129 members of Congress still believe that Don won and that he still should be reinstated.
Yeah, and I believe a lot of them don't believe that. They just know their constituents believe that.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that also because we're kind of going back in time as we go, like there was a lot of COVID conspiracy theories that got people killed. I mean, whether that was using
ivermectin,
like alternative medicine or ivermectin,
bleach.
Or like that masks didn't work, or
my favorite
by our own president, bleach, light. Like, maybe we can put light in
our veins. My favorite dumb mask one was that it was from some fake doctor who said that if you are breathing,
I don't miss him at all.
No, I don't miss him. But no, there was this.
I miss being able to be like, God, I'm smarter than the most powerful person in the world. That was kind of cool.
It was a nice pat on the back we could give ourselves every day.
I mean, I'm smarter than Joe Biden, but.
I mean,
at least like Joe Biden was a senator.
Yeah, he was
like,
at least a senator.
At least he was like somebody who like the fact that Donald Trump was president. There was a time where I was like, I could do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if Donald Trump could do it, like what if I got lucky? What if I won the lottery and then like I invested in like a friend's like startup and then I became like a billionaire, right?
Sure.
And like if I could become a billionaire and I could just spend half of it giving it away and being known as like the guy who gives away money, like I'm fucking Mr. Beast, but I don't make YouTube videos.
Right.
And then I fucking ran for Texas Senate, I could win. And then all I'd have to do is run for governor, and then I could win that, and then run for the presidency, and I could do it. And that's what I liked about Donald Trump, is he made me believe that ridiculous fucking line of thought.
God. Speaking of the ridiculous lines of thought, like fucking I was gonna say,
Nazi fuck.
One of my favorite COVID conspiracies was some doctor, a fake doctor had to be, said that by wearing a mask, you're re-inhaling your own virus. So you're just reinfecting yourself every time you breathe it. It's like,
that's how germs work.
And then, there was another doctor from Africa too that said something about demon sperm. And I don't remember what that was, but I'm not even going to get to that one because that one was, but Trump loved that person,
ladies,
and retweeted her like quite a bit.
So demon sperm.
Gross. So I'm going to go through a few more here. Obviously, I mean, you guys have listened to, you haven't listened to the Marjorie Taylor Greene episode yet because that's next week.
Do you know
why? Why?
Because it's full of temptation.
Wait, what is full of temptation? Huh?
God.
Okay, we're moving on from the demon sperm. So next week we're going to get into this a little bit more, but Marjorie Taylor Greene and the Jewish space laser. I love the New Yorker headline. Marjorie Taylor Greene accuses Jewish space lasers of trying to shoot down Santa. Like, oh goddamn,
that's so awesome.
But claiming the Rothschild banking family has connections to a laser like that. This is one of my favorites, and this is what I think that started pushing me more. Not away from any sort of conspiracy theories necessarily. Like I was already like waned off like a good 15 years ago. But this one was just like, oh wow, people are real dumb. It was a couple lobbyists basically convinced a town that that solar panels, if they installed them, they would suck out the energy of the sun and cause cancer and will harm housing prices. Like, awesome. So they said that solar panels suck the sun dry, and which is obviously not true. I think in South or North Carolina, But so another one we're going to get to next week as well is Marjorie Taylor Greene, and another actually person who said the same thing, accused the Parkland shooting survivors of being crisis actors, and that obviously wasn't true. There's a video out there of Marjorie Taylor Greene stalking David Hogg and with a video camera, calling him a crisis actor. I think she ended up apologizing for it later on. But it's not funny. But we're getting into the less funny ones here.
Like they're I get like
it's not funny at all.
Harassing like elected people and even famous people, right? Like you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't do it. Especially just famous people. Like I think you should harass elected people, but
sure, legally, on the phone, legally.
Legally, through the legal means.
Yeah.
But like harassing like everyday people who have gone through a traumatic event, like is insane to me.
Yeah.
Like
stalking them with a video camera while he's at school.
Like harassing
what the fuck?
Ruby. I'm trying to remember their name, but the two clients in Georgia who were election workers.
Yes.
That
I don't remember their names.
Yeah. Like they were harassed hundreds of times with like people banging on their doors and calling them and threatening them and threatening their lives and their children's and their pets. Yeah. I mean, like they had to be put under like witness protection.
And they just sued Rudy Giuliani for $100 million, something.
They'll never see because Rudy Giuliani
is fully broke. But still,
he
like they've
stipulated
ruined
part
him
of his
for
earnings as what Trump owes him, and I'm sure he'll be getting that.
Yeah, it's not ever happening.
Checks in the mail.
Trump just spent $50 million on his PAC on legal fees, and still has to pay.
How many lawyers have to not get paid before like somebody realizes like I really shouldn't work for this guy? Like he just doesn't pay me.
Yeah,
like,
everybody's just hopping on. I mean, I don't they get younger and dumber every single time he gets a new lawyer. So yeah, like that one. Because this one who just tried to defend him in the Eugene Carroll case, I don't remember her name, but she said in a podcast interview, "Would you rather be smart or pretty?" And she said, "Pretty. I can fake being easy. Smart."
And
no, you can't.
No, sweetheart,
you didn't because the judge
sweetie.
proved that.
Listen, sweetie, I'm talking to you one-on-one. This is Andy time. You can't fake being smart.
No, sorry.
Some people can. You, not so much. Now here's the deal: you can write a book, find a ghostwriter. I'll do it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sit down with me.
We're available.
And I'll write it out for you.
We are for sale.
We are for sale, like totally. Write a book. Make a solid 350K off of it, selling it to right wing people. Do what you were on Fox, and then enjoy the rest of your life. Because you're probably gonna get disbarred.
She's definitely gonna get disbarred. Like they're already talking about that.
Be like, stop being Trump's lawyer. If I know he took you off like some cases, but she needs to stop being Trump's lawyer, because I'm telling you, like, being Donald Trump's lawyer is like, it's like the new monkey's paw, or like, it's like, it's like a cursed position. It's like
you have
it's like
one
being
left.
hand of the king, like.
Yeah.
Like,
she's.
Why would you? Why? Like,
you're going to fail. Like
it's like being the defense against the dark arts teacher.
Yeah,
like that's what happens when you're Trump's lawyer.
Yeah,
like,
there you go.
Essentially, like next season you're gone.
Yeah, know that you're doing this. Know that you are working for him pro bono, and that is solely it.
Turn into a werewolf, or you join the Death Eaters, or like it turns out, like under your turban there was a second man the whole time. Like that is what happens to Trump lawyers at this point, and I'm excited to see what happens to her next.
Me too. So okay, getting into the last few ones here before we jet. One of the craziest ones. I'll do the crazier one first. And feel free to you know this theory better than I do because I forgot that it happened. JFK Jr. and Donald Trump are going to be running together. Potentially JFK was going to be there too, famously assassinated in 1969.
JFK Jr. who died
63
in a plane crash in the 90s, right?
Yeah, JFK Jr. died in 1999, I believe, and that he has been underground. He's actually Q. He's been running this this whole operation, and he was going to show up at a hotel in Dallas to endorse Trump and be his vice president. And during an Aerosmith concert too, I believe. And then didn't you tell me that people were in the hotels in Dallas for like 3 months, even afterwards, or something like that?
Months. I can't remember how long. I'll look it up. But yeah, there were people.
It doesn't worth you looking. It's not worth it. It's too stupid.
People, Dallas.
But the one I loved that they were going to say that JFK was going to show up. I'm like, that motherfucker would have been 95 years old at this point, 102 years old at this point, something like that. Like he was, I mean, assassinated when he was 40 in the 60s. Like, so it just was, and Trump, he didn't deny it. He just let it keep going.
2 months. Rolling Stone did an article on it.
They did a fantastic
where they
article.
were like, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
JFK Jr. is alive.
Yeah.
And he is going to join Donald Trump on a unity ticket that will expose the deep state and the Jewish Hollywood cabal.
Yeah.
Of pedophile vampires working with demons and the devil itself.
Yeah. See, audience, did that sound fucking batshit crazy to you? Everything Andrew just said? That's what some of these people believe. Go watch any Jordan Klepper Fingers the Pulse clip of when he interviews these MAGA people about conspiracies. They lay it out pretty plain and clear of what they believe.
I think it used to be that it was hard to find this shit, right? Like you had to like get on the right like letters and like buy the right books and go to the right like events and like listen to the right AM radio. And now like you click on the internet and whatever you want to find, if you type it into Google the right way, you will find evidence of what you want to be told.
Yeah.
So like I think that because it's become so accessible and because you can join groups of this shit, like, and live in different parts of the country or the world and like unite around this niche idea that you have and find other people like it, like it's much easier to organize. And I mean, like, I think that's in common with the rise of fascism too, right? Like it used to be hard to find Nazi organizations in the United States, to find radical right-wing organizations. Like it used to have to be someone like, you know, you knew a Klansman, like you grew up in a town where it was just popular. And like, it was, you know, nowadays, like if you have right-wing crazy views, and like you're 14 years old and angry at the world, like it's not hard to find like some Nazi group, incel group,
trolled by these fascist fanboys on all the time. Like these, like they're my clearly
virgins,
children.
Like leave my virgins alone. They're like I love my virgins that hate me. That hate that a man in his 30s who is 100 pounds overweight is having more sex than them. They hate it. They hate it. They hate it, and I love it. I love it. I'm fucking your mom, and I'm fucking her friends. And it's so great.
It's great.
It's amazing.
Andrew gets around, and we're a sex positive show. But so one last
fuck all your moms.
two quick last conspiracies. One was, you know, Obama is a secret Kenyan Muslim, which is just you know, talk about you know, secret racist conspiracy
popularized by Donald Trump.
But this is the last one, and this is, I'm putting it more towards the end because YouTube does not like when people talk about this for good reason, because some people do talk about this in all seriousness, as in the Clintons,
I mean,
who are the Clintons are corrupt people. Bill Clinton was clearly friends with Jeffrey Epstein. Like, we're not saying we're no friends of the Clintons here, but you know what they didn't do? They didn't fucking kill Vince Foster. He was a man who was a friend of them.
In general is pretty crazy.
Stupid.
Is a conspiracy.
It is really. It's zany. This man, from what I understand, was, you know, a friend of Bill's when they were younger. He committed self-harm and killed himself at a park. And the alleged conspiracy is that, you know, they he knew too much about them, and they ordered a hit. And then there's also these Clinton kill lists that are out there on line that are complete bullshit. They are not real, or they are real lists, but they are not real things that the Clintons have made. I
love how you had to clarify that they are lists.
They are lists, but they are not real
fake lists.
Yeah,
they're not webdings put out on bullet points. They are actual lists of names.
See, and but the minefield I have to walk through here to make sure I'm like, these aren't real. Like, but because 5 investigations were done on this man, and they were all concluded that the Clintons did not kill him, but Gingrich, Trump, and Ken Starr still pushed those conspiracy theories, regardless of the fact there was no way that he could have been carried up the hill like that he was on. It was all
both
stupid.
Clintons. Why dive into the complete absurdities?
Yeah,
like there's so much legitimate shit to talk about. Hillary and Bill Clinton.
Like,
but also, like, I look at this shit, like I look at the aliens conspiracy theory we were talking about before we started recording. Like, if aliens are advanced enough to travel through like wormholes to bend space-time to somehow travel light years in a short amount of time, or at least as the way they experience it.
Sure.
There's no way they're getting shot down by like ballistic missiles.
No.
There's no way they're crashing like on the earth.
Not a bit.
Like there's just no way and being found. Well, I feel the same about the Clinton kill list. Like if the Clintons wanted to kill somebody, you would never know the Clintons killed them.
They were
like,
presidents
they would
at the
die
time.
in a plane crash with like 30 other people, or they would like have a heart attack like publicly. Yeah, there's no way. Like, yeah, like that's how I feel is like some of these rich, powerful people, like, well, Putin makes these things obvious on purpose.
Yeah.
I think Putin could kill a lot of these people without
secretly,
anyone ever knowing it was a murder.
Yeah.
But like you want it to be suspicious if like you're a dictator, because then it's like, don't do what I say or you might fall out a fucking window.
Like, which people did, or poison your underwear, or crash your plane after the Wagner Group kind of invades Moscow a little bit.
Dude, how did you get on that plane?
Why did you get on that plane?
That's okay. You brought up the one time that not having a conspiracy theory got you killed. Yeah. Like how the fuck do you like get on that plane?
Why did you get on that plane, man? Rotten hell.
No, fuck him.
He's fuck him, rotten hell. But like, why did you get on that plane? Like that just pure like self
noob gamer
preservation.
Move. Like not a pro gamer move, homie. Like
the point is,
I don't know. Like if we went far enough back, like you could find tons and tons of these conspiracy theories that change election cycle, and some that stay, long term.
That the whole Nixon thing was bullshit. Like that Nixon didn't do all of that. That's there are people. Roger Stone himself to this day promotes that Nixon was framed or something like that. Roger Stone, who just was caught on audio talking to a cop about killing Eric Swalwell and Jamie Raskin. He's like, one of them need to die before the election. It's not like I'm surprised the feds haven't straight up arrested him at this point, but
I
whatever.
will say he wins the most like an actual Batman villain award.
Yeah, well, he dresses
for a real
like
human being,
a Batman villain.
Like
he dresses
like the penguin.
He dresses like the penguin from Gotham by Gaslight. That's too deep for probably most of the audience.
He looks like a steam age penguin.
Steampunk penguin. He is
he looks like a steampunk penguin who has a tattoo of Richard Nixon on his back.
Dude, it's bigger than you think.
It's like Ben Affleck Phoenix size like tattoo. It's
like,
huge.
Ask yourselves to semi-quote John Oliver, ask yourselves, how big do you think that tattoo is? You're wrong. It's bigger. Like,
I tell you what, if we hit 1 million subscribers or followers on anything ever, I will get a Nixon size tattoo of Tim's face on my back.
I won't do the same, but by all means, I've helped you you've helped me. We've helped each other get to 1 million views, subscribers, whatever. Got to 202,000 on TikTok. Thank you.
That was fun. That was cool.
Because Ron DeSantis, man, you're something else. No conspiracy theories about that guy, really, other than the whole, he might have been a torturer at Guantanamo, but we've talked about that already.
It's kind of like one person's like
another left-leaning conspiracy, and that just turns out to be true. We'll probably find out it's true later. So that's it. There wasn't really a point to this other than don't believe conspiracy theories. Like, or do your absolute research. If you have a question, that doesn't mean like about, did aliens visit Earth, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't make you an automatic racist if you believe, the fun ones, the ancient aliens with the guy with the hair. It's, like I'm even, we're Andrew and I are working on a show that's going to come out later, hopefully this year, probably next year, that is about fake conspiracy theories. Like Delaware doesn't exist because it was a concept invented by the Norwegians to keep the French from finding out about silver. That's a crazy thing that I just made up. Like,
real.
Oh no. Okay, go watch and I'll link in the description of this video. Go watch the Birds Aren't Real TED Talk. The guy comes in, he does his whole speech, and then he goes back to his normal persona of his real life and goes, I made this up to basically poke fun at all this. And he gives a very good lecture on how conspiracy, probably better than the whole hour of this episode. He did a great job in 15 minutes. So watch that. don't believe conspiracy theories. Do your research, please. There's, fact-checking websites everywhere. Google has a fact-check website. I think it's google.com-fact-check or something like that. But, goddamn. No, the fucking election wasn't rigged, you idiots. That's all I have to say to you.
Tim and Theb A-Star are the same person. I'm dropping it right now.
Oh, they're not.
It's my conspiracy theory. They're the same person. They're the same person.
Theb A-Star from America the Podcast is canonically 5'9".
I'm bringing you the truth, audience.
He is canonically 5'9". I am 5'10". He is also canonically 260 something years old.
Never in the same room. Never in the same room.
We're in the same videos all the time. What are you talking about? We're in the same videos all the
There's
time.
an edit. There's a cut.
No, there's not.
Look, Tower 7.
Tower 7. We didn't even get into 9/11. What's our problem? Oh my God, how do we miss talking about 9/11?
9/11. We literally forgot 9/11. No,
we actually forgot 9/11.
That's how the podcast ends.
Oh my God,
us forgetting 9/11. We said
we'd
never forget.
We said we'd never forget, and you know what? I guess it does take 20-something years to finally forget something that was tragic, and then COVID had a 9/11 a day. Let's not forget that. How about that?
I'm sure Iraq and Afghanistan had a 9/11
a day. Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. Point is, don't forget 9/11. It wasn't a conspiracy.
9/11s a day in Gaza right now, FYI.
Excuse me. Yeah. And Gaza, an area the size of Austin. Like, think about that. It's like if all of Texas decided to just invade Austin or invade Dallas all at the same time and bomb the absolute shit out of them. So free Palestine, fuck apartheid, don't believe conspiracy theories, and do your research and subscribe to this show. That's all. Good night.
You've been listening to America the Conversation with hosts Andrew Turner and Tim Philippi. The show was created by Andrew Turner and Tim Philippi and is a production of Shway Media and America the Podcast Presents. Any news sources referenced in this episode are listed in the show notes. America the Conversation is mixed and edited by Tim Philippi at Shway Media Studios in Austin, Texas. The show's theme song is by Timmy Two Step. Executive producers for America the Conversation are Andrew Turner, Tim Philippi, and Alana Matos. For more information, please visit shwaymedia.com and americathepodcast.com. Copyright 2024, all rights reserved.
This has been a production of Shway Media, all rights reserved. For more information, please visit shwaymedia.com.